Good morning. I'm the Reverend Julianne Lepp, and it is a pleasure to be with you this morning for our Sunday meditation here on Mother's Day and May 9th. I hope that you are having a relaxing morning, and I invite you into this time together to center yourself, find your breath, find your space for relaxation. Sit comfortably, and thank you for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and light our chalice this morning. We light a candle or a chalice to center ourselves, to set aside this time, a sacred time for us, for meditation, for quietude. Flame of fire, spark of the universe that warmed our ancestral hearth, agent of life and death, symbol of truth and freedom, we struggle to understand ourselves and our earthly home. These are the words of Leslie Pohl Cuspa. So today our meditation is about self-compassion. And so often we get the message that focusing on ourselves is selfish, or that we should be more concerned with people outside of ourselves. And hopefully our compassion can go from I to thou, because if we aren't offering compassion for ourselves, then we lack the capacity to really truly enter into that relationship with others in the kind of way that is as deep as it could be. I mean, we can care and offer compassion, but truly loving yourself is the step that I would encourage you to do. So before we enter into meditation, I wanted to share these words by Kristen Neff. Western culture places great emphasis on being kind to our friends, family, and neighbors who are struggling. Not so much with ourselves. When we make a mistake or fail in some way, we're more likely to literally just hit ourselves over the head instead of offering ourselves compassion. Like, why did I do that wrong? Or how could I make that mistake? And I know that that's something that I struggle with. And I've been really, during this time of being separate during the pandemic, I've been trying to work on that. What is my inner voice telling me? And our inner voice can be our worst enemy. We trying to find positive words and compassionate words to use instead of I failed, instead of this is the worst. What is it about it that's redeemable? Or man, I'm so human is maybe a different way of saying that. Self-kindness, by definition, means that we stop the constant self-judgment and disparaging internal commentary that most of us have come to see as normal. It requires us to understand our foibles and failures instead of condemning them. So instead of saying, "Oh, I'm such a failure," what is it that you're seeing as a failure and why? And is it true? I think we're all fallible, and there's certainly times I could communicate better and notice more. But also remembering the times when I have communicated or noticed is also important. And I encourage you to do that on this Mother's Day when we think about people we love and hopefully people who love us back. Start with that time of self-kindness. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes gently, gentle your breath and your face, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in compassion, breathing out criticism, breathing in kindness, breathing out those harsh words or things that we judge ourselves with. Breathing in calmness, letting go. going to ring our bell and invite you into a time of silence and self-care as we enter into our Sunday morning meditation. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in calm, letting go of what we need to let go of. I invite you into this space as we talk about self-compassion. I know for myself, this is definitely one of the hardest practices of self-care and I guess you could say awakening that I strive towards, because all of us want to be our best selves. And it would seem that our great teachers like the Buddha and Jesus and teachers, more contemporary teachers like Tara Brach would encourage us to not do that with beating ourselves down with how bad we've been doing, but lifting ourselves up with words of kindness and care and nurturing ourselves into the type of people that we want to be. And I guess the best metaphor right now on this spring Sunday would be, if we want to grow a plant, we have to give it light. We have to give it good soil, water it. Some would even say we have to talk to it and give it love. So if we want to nurture ourselves and to be the best that we can be, what is the light that would come into our hearts that maybe forgiving ourselves for making a mistake, and maybe offering the compassion that we can do it differently next time. It doesn't mean that we let ourselves off the hook. It just means that we understand that we do a lot of things probably pretty well and don't always give ourselves credit. I think of Charlie Brown trying to kick that poor football in the comics. I remember when I was a kid, I always felt so bad for him, and I wanted to hold that football. And Lucy seemed to me like the critic, always telling Charlie Brown what a terrible football player he was, and captain, and all these things. And I wanted to hold that football and tell him it was going to be okay. And especially right now, telling ourselves that in some manner things will be well. And Meg Barnhouse sings this song written on the words of Julian of Norwich, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. All will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And I love listening to her sing that. When I'm having an anxious time, I will put that on. And I've also come to really like Rising Appalachia. They sing a song called Resilient. And in our own teal hymnal, the Yo-Yo hymnal, may I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. I think I got that right. And then it goes on to, may you be filled with loving kindness. And finally, we. And Martin Buber, who is a Christian theologian, urges us to go from I to thou. And so it makes sense that we put on our oxygen mask first. We offer ourselves that loving kindness. I wanted to share this quote from this book that I've been reading called Self-Compassion. It's by Kristen Neff, if you're looking for something to read about self-compassion. And the opening quote I thought was really lovely. And it was by Sharon Salzberg. She said, "This kind of compulsive concern with I, me, and mine isn't the same as loving ourselves. Loving ourselves points us to capacities of resilience, compassion, and understanding within that are simply part of being alive." So let me say that one more time. Loving ourselves points us towards capacities for resilience, compassion, and understanding within that are simply part of being alive. So think about that soil and that sunshine and that water. What is it that's watering you or helping you grow into that loving and compassionate person that many of us want to be? And how are you extending that to yourself? Love your neighbor and also love yourself, right? And so I'm going to close our time together with these words of compassion to ourselves. And it's by Edwin Muir. Friend, I have lost the way. The way leads on. Is there another way? The way is one. I must retrace the track. It's lost and gone. Back, I must travel back. Then I'll make here my place. The road runs on. Stand still and set my face. The road leaps on. Stay here, forever stay. None stays here, none. I cannot find the way leads on. Oh, the places I have passed, that journey's done, and what will come at last, the way leads on. And so we can move, change, and grow, the way leads on. And to see the way is to breathe into our awareness, examining ourselves, how we treat ourselves and others, and hopefully living with self-compassion and compassion and loving kindness for all. Namaste, my friends. Thank you for joining us for our morning meditation. And I hope you can join us at 10 a.m. We're going to have a very special Sunday with Peter Mayer as our musical guest, and it will be our Justice Sunday, also celebrating Mother's Day and all of those forms that mothering happen. Thank you.